so friends some trefo ma ene day kokomremre enkran NPP wo head office wo mo eden sam a efa Techiman South abato no ho ato edwa wo mo echirem se wo mo de wo mo enso coalition wo mo ye de yisi ye ya wo mo so bi kan wo mo ensa no ene se NPP the O2 frank adema womo Yewramatin kosa ogina mu ede ema womo no womo enya 49,682 sanso ena NDC Yewra Christopher Bayere enso enya 49,205 NPP womo edin kunim sempi ena Yewra Peter McManu waka ewo press conference na say yede ebi ebabe sommo ewo fidie so.
DC initially said that there was no coalition in Techiman South. Now they are asking for re-coalition. There was no coalition in the first place. How can there be re-coalition?
Sa enso ena Yewra Henam Hajide waye deputy information minister wakasa ade afa transitional team ekoso sene beya nyame eya adoma January 7 Ghana ban yato abayi no wobeso afnemo esoi ni mpre no so ebiem ede akire wo man ahoboa ministry and transition team no omo aye no wode san ensem no ato edwa
about the participation of any member of parliament elect in the legitimate duties of parliament is a question for that member of parliament elect to respond to. It is my understanding that the people of Ghana went to the elections to elect members of parliament and imposed on them a responsibility to represent them. It is
in some way any afufro pin and then you may yesin konya wa 24 radio so ayede babe somo e channel ho modernghana.com Zeno radio and afin so tune in ukopiem ewo YouTube ya 24 TV Facebook ya 24 radio/tv papa smile na ekeka no mesi animo se ne be ya simeduo no adi animo yin obete yenka ewo afidie yi eso medin ede Edward Donko afe na nwumre ensama yede na poso atomanim no emu nkyeremu enie nansem ben na otwumie pepepe enie na yekoto abato komisam chairperson ede ema yen yisi ye mame Jane Mensa de beto dwa se abaye to ye no NPP ena edi enkunim sa results ibeto dwa na NDC foto omo ase a enye yi eno nti omo simontene so ye kire akese pa enya asem keto akra sa so ena omo nsem trefo so dinsa wo so papa eko makosem kire wo mo na eno ene dey NPP fo so ensama de dimun tintiman pa Techiman South say NDC fo ekirem say yisi awiam de ama NPP fo no a omo ho press conference ahodo no ene dey NPP fo won campaign team McManu eda won anim no okopiem ewo enkran kokomre mre NPP abato no NPP amayekio no won officer wo so afren sem trefo aka wo mo ensem na eno na Yewra Peter McManu waka nsem pi ede afasa ensem no eho wo kirem ese NPP for NDC for kasa coalition ankoso na de ye enwanwa ene se coalition ankoso dan na minority leader abrebia wo kasa say recollection esa koso ewo Techiman South no de ogidi ss Techiman South one no collection ekoso na krata ekuta wo mo edi adanse esa collection course one NPP de ogina mo edema wo mo Yewra kosa wenya 49,682 sanso na NDC Yewra Christopher Bayere enya 49,205 achese NPP kosa na etimidin kunim ewo parliamentary ho na eno entonchen enso one pink sheet ekuta woman bibia dia dance say from polling station to polling station bebia results NPP for enya ene NDC for enya no ne nyina ekuta woman eno entonche wo de atodwa say no maybe koso ana ekoso ewo constituencies ahodo a woman entimi enin kunim na no NPP for boabo wo de asam no akwa mu ewo court na no ena ochirem say correction ekoso pa te say de wo kana na enam say NDC for woman eye akwadro na womo enim hwe no enti eno empo ena ntra womo echa no na chese eno kra no asanso akwa bibie ho omo hu sa entro no pokra twa eno no ochirem se omo eye incompetent even at a forgery ɛno ɛyɛ nsɛm a yɛwura makamano ɛtumi ɛkaeɛ ɔkyerɛm sɛ constituencies ahodoɔ sɛ de bi ka kaeɛ no nsɛm bi kɔ so a wɔn nte wɔn ho ase wɔn bɛma nsɛm no so de akɔ akɔpiem court na mmom wɔn nka nkyerɛ wɔn mmabunu sɛ wɔn nsi mmɔntene so ɛnyɛ demonstration ahodoɔ na peace a Ghanafoɔ foforɔ ɛwɔ no wɔn nso atumi ahwere ɛwɔ hɔnom ɛno nti wɔn boaboa wɔn ho paa akɔ akɔpiem ɛwɔ court.
Parliamentary elections. I must state also here that we do not speak for the Electoral Commission. We speak for ourselves and we speak to set 49,205. And I repeat, to the COSA NPP 49,682. To Christopher Bayre Basom Gut NDC 49,205. And I repeat, to Christopher Bayre Basom Gut NDC 49,205. All the bench Martin J. Mensa Corsa January 2021 to January 2025. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen of the press, it is important for us to expose the lies, deceit, propaganda, and political chinkastry, shenanigans, and dishonesty of the NDC since the process towards the 2020 elections began. The NDC has always sensed that to lose the 2020 elections, and so from the beginning of the year, they had constantly been impugning the integrity of the EC, for the EC, and by that reduce the legitimacy of MPP's victory in the eyes of well-meaning Ghanaians. But in their attempt to do so, they have constantly exposed their own lies and reduced their own esteem in the eyes of Ghanaian people. This far, NDC has put out several results as representing what they call true results of the Techiman South parliamentary elections. But there cannot be multiple truths. So which of the several results that NDC has put out represents the true results of the Techiman parliamentary elections? Yesterday, the minority in parliament promised to display all 265 pages from Techiman South. In the end, they subjected viewers to fabricated images of an Excel spreadsheet. Johnson S.A. Ketia claimed that NDC candidate polled 50,569, while the NPP candidate polled 49,874 votes, making it a full difference of 695. On the 11th of December 2020, John Dramani Mahama, presidential candidate of the NDC, claimed of 592 votes. Then on 21st December 2020, the NDC candidate himself, Christopher Bayre, in an interview with Joy FM Joseph Okugago, claimed that he won the elections with a margin of 700. Around 4 p.m. on the same day, on Joy News, he claimed he has won by 2,000 votes. Later the same day on Newsnight, at a point 695, at a point 592, at a point 700, and then 825. Mind you, we are talking about an election in one constituency. In this singular constituency, the NDC won by 5 different margins. Ridiculous. They are so inept, lazy, and propaganda-driven to such an extent that they can't get basic computing right. Basically, they can't even tell a consistent lie. How could they be incompetent even at function? Ladies and gentlemen of the press, EU, ECOWAS, and other international observers have all affirmed saying no effort to denigrate the results of election 2020 will gain traction. The call of Mahama to tell his supporters the truth that he lost the election. It's okay if he wants to go to court, the support of his party for another try in 2024, but it is not okay to endanger the lives of other people's children, and by that endanger the security of our country.
Yei eye campaign chairman ede ema NPP amanyuku no ewa fi abato no yewra Peter McMenu ena yete nenka ewo eho no na yewra Henam Hajide eye deputy information minister ono so ede ato edwase transition team no omobo Muhammadin ye papa se ne be January dwumadi no ebe ye smooth pa abeto dwase nyame eye adoma January 7 Ghana mampani ayato aba ayi no obekomra se bedwafie na yakwa akoda na di ede akere oman konkron Ghana eni wiase afa na nyina se mfie na ya edi anim yi wono ena wode Ghana eko asase konkron no eso se ne be ya yimpumtuo ne ndwumadi awodo nyina wobeda no ede amayen na eno ena enedai meet the press information minister ede dwumadi no ehye so no yira hagide etena so no bobo so mako na yentie ensema oka efa transition team won dwumadi a womo edi ne hye ya omo ede egu akwam
about the participation of any member of parliament elect in the legitimate duties of parliament is a question for that member of parliament elect to respond to. It is my understanding that the people of Ghana went to the elections to elect members of parliament and imposed on them a responsibility to represent them. It is my hope and prayer that members of parliament elect do well by their constituents, do well by the constitution of the Republic of Ghana and perform the duties that have been imposed on them. Beyond that, I think that the question of attendance upon or otherwise is a matter for the respective members of parliament elect. However, I am advised that the inauguration subcommittee and even parliament is making all the necessary preparations towards the swearing in, and these will cover all members of parliament elect, and we will be ready to receive everybody. We all know that Ghana is the toast of the world. We are the trailblazers as far as multi-party democracy, not only in West Africa, but indeed in the whole of Africa is concerned. Again, we have proven to the world that we have and know what it takes to perfect this democratic experiment that we are engaged in, and many people are expressing their intentions to join us celebrate once again collectively what we have been able to gain for ourselves. The definite numbers, the names and so on in due course will be announced to you as well. The numbers we are expecting in Parliament, Parliament will address us on those matters in due course.
Yei a deputy information minister yira Honorable Henam Hajide ena yete nenka ewo eho na ochiremu se enipa dodo na ase ne democracy na kwa mana manso ma wiase afa na nyina agye na atum no enipa pi ana dignities bebre ena ebeba ama omo so de omo ne monyam abeta adwumadi no eso na no yebisa na se ohwe minority for amude ato edwa se womo emma MPM ewo inauguration no ase na no ochirem se MPs no free constituencies ahodo na Ghana for na asoma womo eno de ogidie se eno ekire set de Ghana for a womo ewo sampesua ahodo so aka kire womo no eno ena womo ebeye Hanam Hajide ena yete nenka ewo ho no na Dr. Patrick Kumabo agede atodwa se COVID-19 eda so ewo ho nti yekọ holidays yenhwe se yenko koto max no enwo yen observe COVID-19 protocols ahodo no anye saade a ene ensem ebe ha papa
15th of December, which is the current reportage that we have for our data, we recorded 89 cases, and I give you a breakdown of that. We've so far discharged about 52,777 while cases are accounting for about 97.7%. We have recorded, unfortunately, 333 deaths. That brings our case fatality rate as the number of deaths per cases we've had between 0.62 compared to the global average of 2.5%. Currently, we have 933 active cases. This is the number of people in Ghana now who are currently carrying the virus. Very soon, in the next 3 days, you're going to get into a different season, which is Christmas and, of course, 31st night celebration. These are all potential risks that we'll be careful of. There's a lot of increase in travel across the country, so there's going to be a lot of mixing that places roads. We're going to have a lot of social activities, weddings, churches, the place of worship is going to be full. These are all areas that we need to work on. And just like we prepare for the election, we're also cycling people up about how to prepare ourselves for these events that are coming up.
Yay, Dr. Patrick Kumabuaji, Director of Ghana Health Service, and yete nenka ewo hono. Mame Ida, chairperson at the Emma Network for Young Women Empowerment. Mame Ida, they are two just say about domestic violence. Just a corner a yenina yekon. I was saying a cambum na you two animals send a bayasa or kankei and I say or how we etime efree and so or then sending out to Jawa Brana Jumet Jumedi Bakon Ecopiemo Ewo Upper West region wa Empotem ho na omo de efutu Emma Emebunu titru Emayuano se wamo ensure mo esuye send a baya domestic violence a koso no so ebetimi atie na Emma no so omotimi abo momoden ato akoso akwa musuku ama oman konkron Ghana yenya wamo eho emfaso.
Came up with is that the Tijabu-Yeni disease in the Upper West region is one thing that is really threatening, and that is really making it difficult for us to make a headway in terms of this. The Tijabu-Yeni means what? We are all one, or we are all family, so no need for perpetrators to be punished. So we are coming up strongly to say that the Tijabu-Yeni spirits in the Upper West region or in one municipality must be an evil or a canker that we need to deal with if we really want to make a headway. There is a call to the regional minister to support the process of enforcing the laws on sexual and gender-based violence in the Upper West region. The Department of Gender is humbly requested to incorporate activities addressing the sexual and gender-based violence in their work plan going forward. We also want to request our Wala Traditional Council and all the councils in the paramountcies in the Upper West region to amend some of the harmful cultural practices that create room for gender-based violence. I'm calling on the media, our friends from the media, to help educate the public on the consequences on the gender-based violence. The Department of Social Welfare should step up their role in advocating and helping the vulnerable, especially those who have been abused sexually.
Ida or chairperson at the Emma Network for Young Women Empowerment. And yete nenkano na information minister Kojo Opon Kroma de atudwa se enche na aban ebeba begina afidie so akyerkyerem ahobo ayaya enche Jesi January ma ye bebie school no hyehye a womo aye na no na de atudwa se woni stakeholders ni nyina edi enkomo eniti Ghana fontam tuku nyame eya adoma busumi aye womu ne de toso aduasa no Ghana ban ebeba begina afidie so na one Ghana fo edi enkomo afa ebreport a ye bebie school ene hyehye a aban no etimi aye yenyina yebedi so na afenso school no yetimi akọ ewo ho nemo na enche na chese ye afi yede aba awiye ne afi ba wiye pe aban ye chese nsuo ne afi kania eyuso ye bebu a free kwamsa afi beba na wiye na enche na afi aba na wiye eno na Ghana Water Company for edekrata tenten ababeto edwa a womo echirem se nyame eya adom abusumi ayewem ne de toso aduasan de twato no ensuo no ye muni free biem ye beto na no de atodwa se ebinum ho no ma wo mita no na omo edeka data eno nti omo moden so omo ebetua sanso ena fiura fo so ene won tenant for enkasa no mo nchirem se free January 1 ekono womo ensio womo ebeshase aton ewo honom ye eye kokobo a Ghana Water Company for sanso and a Ministry of Water and Sanitation womo so ede ato edwa ye ma Cecilia Abinadapa we Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources sanso and a Chief Manager Ghana Water Company Limited Yura Stanley Mante ono so ede ato edwa ewo ehonom na akabe na mienu na bronya na ya shase na eno ena ukopiem ewo marketer akukọ ehwa ye din ye papa no boa ye den papa ye ne market women for no edi encommon say ena ebi echiremu
afina kokwane de ntiko ana body say ye beton 35 kotono you want sa kokunu wodi kwaje 40 kura o moto ana kasa ya fide kokonu de ye bisa mo say biane boaye de biane boaye de kokwane biane boaye de nti Amanko kon baby e kwa enya bimpo. Ebo aye dindindin.
Yei emanu bia omoton enkoko ene ete wo mo enka no civil society organizations awodo de ensem bia betudwa say isi won leave wo mo ekono ne ni kwa say wo mo de krata ba bonten bechirim say wo mo eco leave ne nyina ene sensem ay sorry fa abato no ho no wo sen komu siesie ansa na wo mo akọ wo mo holidays na holidays a wo mo ekono civil service organizations awodo civil society organizations awodo wo mamu ase no wo mo gidie say entwa yie kra sanso ena NDC for echirim say nyame eya adoma wo mo ebebo mo modern ama menteme wase a ewo abato no omo etimi aboni nyina bede de akwakopiem ewo court UFP a yewura ejeni mboaten eda wona no echirim se 2020 abaye toye no enya de se enokre epiemu John Dramani Mama ena edi nkunim ena yawia no ewo ehonom yeyi eye ensem ebia eno so etimi abeto edwa wo mo moton ensa nyina efutu akwa ma wo mo ene wo mo nom se wo mo hwe wo ho ye ewo afi a ye ba besimi yewura a ye freno Moses ono ena ye president na ode sa futuo no ede ama yenuanoma omo enom ensa na yenyina so na yemfa enne the trending news a ensa kan ene nyina ensi nyame adom ochina de akam bia so de ba besomo afidie so
Members of Parliament, she will come to Parliament, don't worry. This guy should come for the petition. Police officer, any police officer, we are here. We have been ignored by the Electoral Commission.
Yamo bibia joma makwaba de ba 24 radio eso ebredu sense mekoso memwa say di aboabo no ayato ne din trending news no enda nwumre yesi nkonwa ne de bi besomo ensema ye de ba no de di makotene ebi ene se ene dai edom ekuma a omo ewo mrase bedwafie womo atwa electoral commission no office rage de womo krata won petition akwakoto nanim na womo ekoyen bambonsem na yatawe na ebi na mote yese Haruna Idrusu na okasa na womo ekoyen no officer wo ho yatutum na eno na Haruna Idrusu ode ato edwa a wo chirim se Mami Jane Mensa ameje womo petition na enche obeba rasebedwafie na ono so de nsem aba na ho na ono so obehu se tumi ewo ho
about easy coming for budget, but you are not concerned about the lack of disrespect for the laws of Ghana, in particularly the electoral laws of Ghana. Go and acquaint yourself with CI 127, in particular Regulation 43. And the Chima staff, we are demanding justice for Christopher Barry because it's so critical. When you leave here, go and ask the Marshal of Parliament and the police in Parliament. We walk through them and we did.
Sa enso ena yeboabo ho akwa akodibronya na adrobafo de efuto ama won yonko adrobafo sanso ena passengers se ne beya kan kwanhia edru holidays say a esie no eso ebetimi atie
said that all kana do satamia so the kwaso ebeja kana ye kano ade ba kwa me mensu o mana so mehu wo ni say wo haka also so wo kon bi ama the sunset the papa ko be try am from so na the assign for be me assign as nine e wo kwano so enti anything dia na me mama so we say am go kan ho dia but ahwe yi e na ma ni pe ni je
Lawyer John Ampontua Kuma eye mrasebedwani a yeyino ewo Ejuso constituency na ode ato edwa se MPs fund a yede MPs din atoso no na enso sika no meka wo ensa no se aban ye hyehye amanka sika no ya chem mienu 50% akodi wo mo ho a enkombetim de aye mpuntujuma pa
the national community question almost any financial allocations there for development. And over MP na MP the mremono ye use koshemra enti mrana wo kosheno kwa na dia shewonsa onisa amanfo nyina na ato abama to so we need a net spending allocation behind the budget Into no trimmer, a moment spending on Ghana and Twabama. And no more, I have Twabama one also, only spending allocation via no net development agitation, our community. It's answer MC in the Anton Swabam. No control. The entire common fund about district.
Sir, and so Peace Council for the Efuto Muslim communities, and so and another info and in penny for war members say, Yankasa enter ye mebruno, na protest ahodo a ekoso ewo yakwan ahodo so sheshe ties no eto intimi incha.
With that engagement, we trust that God being our helper, there will be some solution to this matter. We will keep on with the traditional groups. Right now, our major focus will be on the Islamic community.
Yei chairman Ede Emma Peace Council Yura Reverend Dr. Ernest Yebeko na afe ensemno yede emu enchiremu amamo sa enso ene beko akopie mu ewo Eastern region na eno ena opani a yesusu se oye ohene wone ababawa wanya mfie aduonu enum akwakodi kasurubom ekowi akire no na chese watoa nananom ewo ensiedo nana ana opani a wadi mfie aduosensia watoa nananom ewo ensiedo na ebinum akire omo adwene afasa ensem no eho yede ene no ebeba besomo ewo afidie yi so
first one, woman about one of our and a party and you just wrong.
In some way, any afufro P na mosomfo edwe donko na nyumre yesin konya wa 24 radio so a oti enka ewo YouTube ya 24 TV, Facebook ya 24 radio/TV sa enso ena oko modernghana.com won sabe kayen Zeno Radio and a tuning Nina a 24 Radio UK, a 24 Radio Ghana, on sa ebitimi akai Papa Smiley, Ekanoma esi ene senebeya on sa ebekayen, and Alberti and ne ewo efidie so, mia motimening meeting ede Edward Donko, Bessa Sima Eduanaya edi enimui, Mone Yang Entena.
She will come to Parliament, don't worry. You come for the petition. Police officer, any police officer, we are here. We have been ignored by the electoral commission. Thanks to God and thanks to the future of our democracy. Any senior police officer who feels obliged can come for a petition. So, you can't just take a petition on behalf of the EC. Since you allow me to go, come for it. You allow me to go and present my petition. Then take it and go and give it to her. Take it and go and give it to her. This is John Dramani Mohammed.
Yei sembia nedai etwagu ye ewo rage baby a electoral commission one office ewo ena edom kuma no omo eboa omo ano enipa 106 said omo number esitie ewo mrahye bedwafie no womo etre krata tenten a echirim say Tachiman South abato empesua no so kwan a yisifa so omo declare NPP won penny a wogina mu omo parliamentary candidate wogina mu ewo Tachiman South no enya de se womo ebo ejoso nti womo ensem omo kanyina ne se reconciliation ebekoso ne no ena enedai edom kuma no yoda omo ano eye Yewura Haruna Idrusu odi wom anim na omo eto santene eko rage baby a electoral commission omo office no ewo no mo kodru won pampima ne abono ho no na nye asemketo akra nanso MPC ene bambofo ede eboso no omunya akwan ekodru rage ne ho nso na posifo ana bambofo ho no na nye ensemketo akra na omo ekodru ho no yisi office na yatotum eno nti womo enya maami Jane Mensa amfa womo krata ama no na eno ena confrontation eba so mekire Haruna Idrusu ne MPC no ene bambofo for woman de efo aso ho no ma kire say na argument no na aye heated pa enye asanketo akra eno enton chen no Haruna Idris mutimi ebowram kodru rage ho na eho na woman ehwehwe yi simpanifo woman ensa anka woman na eno na Haruna Idris echirem se de emra enye adwuma ewo my konkron Ghana mu na omonte asem ase na omatwere krata de koma isia isi nso entimi emfi woman ama meje krata no na no na ode atodwa se woman de woman ebeko na wode ho beba yisi ebeba parliament na afi nso woman edi won kranta asem ayeden aba beto mrase bedwafie ne ho na minority for no woman so ebekire woman se woman na emra no ehye woman ensa
about easy coming for budget, but you are not concerned about the lack of disrespect for the laws of Ghana, in particularly the electoral laws of Ghana. Go and acquaint yourself with CI 127, in particular Regulation 43. And Tajima Saf, we are demanding justice for Christopher Baye because it's so critical to the balance of power that we think that fairly and legitimately a declaration of Tajima Saf via a collation and recollation as happened in Banda. The MPP requested for collation and recollation. It was granted. So if you say laws of Ghana, you shouldn't know MPP and not know NDC. The same principle which worked out in Banda for collation and recollation, we demand same for Tajimasa. And we are demanding that it be done before 7th January so that we walk to Parliament with our majority of 138 seats, including Tajimasa, because we fairly and firmly and honestly believe that any count of Tajima Saf in accordance with law, CI 127, Regulation 43, and an aggregation of it can only lead to one irresistible conclusion that the NDC Christopher Baye won the Tajima Saf seat. Nothing more. What is the aggregation? Just go and count it openly. We're not saying do it in my bedroom or your bedroom. Openly, transparently. Let the police who are intimidating me here with guns go and ensure that that is done openly. Then we count. When we count, whoever wins, declare it for that person. But the Electoral Commission has no business adding this seat to the New Patriotic Party when we don't even have copies of the declared results. This is legally untenable. This is the gravest threat to Ghana's democracy that anybody anywhere tomorrow can sit anywhere, declare results, and ask the other party go to court. What do we go to court with? We simply are saying respect your own electoral laws. That is what we're demanding. You don't determine what we do. We determine and we communicate to you. Maybe the EC is not ready to receive our petition. When they come to Parliament for their budget, we will not be ready to receive them. Don't worry. Don't worry. We were here. Why would that not be here? To be legitimate. The police, you, when you leave, you are going to ask the Marshal of Parliament and the police in Parliament. We walk through them and we did.
Yei minority leader Yera Haruna Idrusu ena yetene ne ewo ho nenso omo ansa anka isi boss no omo etimi ejina omo ena so ekenkan nsema ewo won krata na omo hwehwe Mami Jane Mensa ene ne dom ede ama womo no ekire ensemkyerefo ni tie twanyina ene se womo ese abato no ensese ya ekoso ewo Tachiman South no kwan a ye Mami Jane Mensa na pamfo a oyi womo ekọ honom omo ejina so declare NPP enipa a wogina mu ede ema womo ewo constituency ho no eye kwan bi a NDC for womo etiase a enyeye na omo de omo susu se omo enipa Christopher Bene wono ena oye nkunimdefo ewo Tachiman South ehonom enunti womo enyina so na omo recoliati na omo enhwe na omo enhu se ampa Christopher Bene ena edi nkunim ewo NDC edin emu sei ena oche na adwene na oto aso no no kiremu ese eno entonche no sei isi anye reconciliation no mokosoa ejirem se NPP enedi nkunim ewo sabia ehonom a enya de se January 7 a yeyi Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo akire ni mpre no so biem se ono ene ato aba ayi no ama emfie nan a edi animu wo de Ghana ebe kobose asase so no enya de se minorities for no wo mo ebesi ho.
I received a stated petition from our parliamentary candidate, the winner of the Tajima Saf parliamentary election, Christopher Baye, or something on the happenings in Tajima Saf, that On the day of the elections, long after midnight, agents of the New Patriotic Party raised issues with 3 other polling stations before coalition even could commence. The returning officer later announced a change of coalition center from the community center to the Imperial Hall in Tajima. That at the said coalition center, the parliamentary candidates representing the agents agreed with the returning officer to resolve all the outstanding issues relating to the 5 polling stations that were raised by the returning officer and the agents of the New Patriotic Party. That during the discussion, there may be serious difference between the agents as to how to resolve the outstanding issues. You will note, as I stated, when even the General Secretary went to Tajima and demanded certified copy of the results, statement of we since up to this day do not as a party, Christopher Bear as a candidate have any results, yet it's been added on unjustifiably and lawfully to the New Patriotic Party to rob us of our majority in Parliament. We are demanding that pursuant to Regulation 2, 3 and 43 of the Public Elections Regulation CI 127, all results of polling centers for Tajima South be certified, collated, aggregated and declared, and whoever wins, let that person be the winner. But we will not accept the declaration that was done in the absence of our candidate, in the absence of our party, and in the absence of certified collation results of polling stations in Tajima South. In particular, pursuant to Regulation 43, the endorsed 3 Gazette notification and notice of clerk to Parliament be amended accordingly to reflect the true state of affairs. So the media, this is a copy. We will boycott the Electoral Commission coming forward in Parliament. That's all. A commission in Parliament. We will not be heard. She will never be heard by us.
Yei domkuma ena aduni yewra Haruna Idrusu ena yete nenka ewo eho no na nye ononko ene kopie mu ewo rate Electoral Commission won bia eho ABF Fusenin emrase bedwani a woginam ewo Sagnarigu na ono so etremu ese o hwese say Ghana yemra na se de ye atwitwi from democracy no ye de nanimo atwitwi from pa ya enya asam keto akra na hwe pampima pambofo no eboye na na chese eye unlawful eno nti eno mo nso etwi efa so no na no ena o kyerem se de o process rule kabima min kabi no ye yi afri honom ena se tumidie ena mafo de ahye omo ensa ena omo eye na no ena o kyerem se MP fo no so wonya de se womo ebeje mu beje bibia mu na no omo ede atuje edwa se ombekọso akonkoden de omo enkwa ato akon ede ama oman konkron Ghana ABF Fusenin
at the premises of the Electoral Commission shows that we have succeeded. We are here. I'm sure coming all the way. You saw what they tried to do to prevent us, even as MPs. But the collective strength that we showed, we managed to break through the barricade, and we are here. So I can tell you without any iota of doubt that what we sought to achieve, we have. And the good people of this country are seeing that every Ghanaian is united behind the Jeffrey Nana Akufo-Addo is trying to do with the Electoral Commission. The evil alliance between the MPP and the Electoral Commission to steal the verdict of the people. It's clear today that everybody is resisting that theft. And we will not allow that to happen. Monday. On what sense of the law did the police erect the barricade? Can you tell me? Under which law? Under which act? They say that way. It's one of the oppressive tactics that they use against innocent people of this country. I want to disturb them and have money to break through and get out. That is why I just tell you that this was one of the armed officers. Yes. This democracy, we will do it. We will not allow anybody to represent the land. It says it enjoys Ghanaians to have the will of the people. After subverting the democratic decision that the people took on the December 7th, it just gives you an evidence that of what we are doing against our people in an attempt to suppress their will, in an attempt to make this Jeffrey Nana Akufo-Addo is involving. He's a beneficiary of theft and fraud. So theft is orchestrated. Nana Akufo-Addo is orchestrating fraud in this country. Fruits of the fraud and the Jeffrey that the Electoral Commission so seeks to destroy him. And we are saying that not even us as MPs, we are prepared to go the full mile to ensure that the rights and freedoms accorded Ghanaians are respected. This is including the police. And I'm just saying a note to the police that, you see, they should be worried. Because nobody is in power forever. The MPP will leave power tomorrow. And those of them who were seen at the forefront suppressing people, it will come against everybody who is on notice to suppress the people, that he must watch his actions, because tomorrow you'll be called to answer. And if you do that and you harm somebody unjustifiably, tomorrow you will go to answer. And we are capturing them on this thing. And I'm telling you that anybody who is involved in that kind of thing must be mindful that you don't let a very reckless, greedy, corrupt regime like Nana Akufo-Addo's government come there and put you through this.
ABF Fuseni eye Sagnarigu Mrasebejeni ena yetene ne ewo enne protesta womo enso edesise so no emu na Queensta Pokuya Soya eye Mrasebejeni ede ema Aguna East ono so ekopiemo ewo djumedi no ase ema ono so edibi episo
Ghana anymore. The only thing we want to do is to present a petition to the EC boss. There's nothing that we are. We are members of parliament. We represent people. So what they want is what we will do. We just want to make sure that Techiman South is recounted or whatever it is, and to be sure that we lost or we won. I don't think it's too much to ask from the EC.
But they degenerated, couldn't it?
You are right. You know that.
And would they have been worth it? Would they have
parliament present a paper anymore to a public office? Can't we do that? I don't think we've been treated fairly, but you see, there should be democracy in Ghana. That is what we are practicing now. I think President Akufo-Addo should rethink this whole thing and know that if you are in minority, it is. I mean, you would have to work. We cannot sit and fold our arms and say that the Mensa should do whatever she wants. That place has not been treated fairly. The candidate is even here. All members of parliament, the minority are here. All what we are asking, we are presenting a petition. So that place is recounted. Is it too much to ask that we should be, heckled and we have to break through and stop and nobody received? We wanted to present a paper. And that paper should have been received quietly. Nothing would have happened. We would have walked to the place, just 10 minutes walk, present the petition, say what we have to say. Why were we going to fight anybody? And nobody will fight. You see the way they were behaving. If we had reacted, a huge story, and people would have been hurt, and our constituents would be rushing here, and Ghana, there will be war and all of that. We represent huge. So why wouldn't we be heard? So that even if what we are asking does not make sense, our constituents will know that our reps are not making sense. But you don't want to hear us. All what you want to do is, stopping us because we are minority. I don't think it's fair.
Yei eye Queensta Pokuya Soya Mrasebejeni ede ema Aguna East abato empesua so ene yetene ne no abato imu sunsun so ya ena demonstration ana protest ekoso montre so yakwana wodo so ties awodo yehye ewo yakwantempon eso no ena Peace Council for the letter tenten betujwa enrada na emu ena chairman ede ema Peace Council Reverend Dr. Ernest wade ato ejase wose mpanimfo a womo edi parties ahodo yanim ene womo emebru no ekasa sene beya sene noma esi ekoso ewo ye montre so no enkofa ohaw bia emaye no se wone parties ahodo no edi enhiemu a Washa senti ase ebetumi ato edwa ama parties ne mienu nyina wo mo ho etimi ato won sene NPP fo tutu anamon ede sene west de ekọ court a wo mo court declare no o mate wo ho ase no sanso ena NDC fo washa sempani fo no enso so mo nti bibia ase a wo mo ede wo mo nsem ebekọ akopie mu ewo court ama court ahwe sene be asumdua yekutamu no entimi enfree yensa chairman ede ema Peace Council.
Now, there hasn't been any agreement. The first meeting we had was to listen to them and to see what we could do about it. After that, we tried to use other emissaries to also engage them to see whether we can tone down. The immediate issue is if we can minimize as for demonstration, you cannot hold anybody back from demonstrating. But we want a peaceful demonstration, and then also all the attacks on people and things should also stop, so that it makes room for us to sit down to talk. Those are the key things that we're looking for now. If they can hold on to those things, then it paves the way for us to now begin to interrogate some of the things that we have shared. But the reality is that the results have been declared. The results have been gazetted. Right now, the situation is in law. It is not only a matter of talking behind the scenes. And that is why we are admonishing that once the case is not situated in law, the best way to handle it is through the courts. We may talk about talking behind the scenes or whatever. I don't think at this point just talking will resolve the problem, because once it's been gazetted, it's situated in law, and it's only the law courts that can deal with the matter. So our encouragement is for them to consider that option. And for now, they're also running out of time. We have 21 days from the declaration of the results to go to court. And so, as we count the days, that period is gradually running out. And I believe that this will be the appropriate time for them to file at least their case. And then we can then find a way of dealing with the matters.
Yay, chairman, Eddie, Emma Peace Council near Tin Cano. Nano, the two just one and Nananam him for Sanso and Chief Imams, Akasa, our washes Muslim communities. Woman any mebruno ebekasa sani ebeya or how anase pasabasaibia entimi and sorry nananam kas enkasa yeno ebetimi ama mebruno mate wamwagu montene so protest ahodo no woman so every montene so.
With our engagement, we trust that God being our helper, there will be some solution to this matter. We will keep on with the traditional groups. Right now, our major focus will be on the Islamic community to see what we can make out of that as well. We have not gotten them to issue any statement yet. So we are still working on those things. And we believe that a lot of the people who are leading some of these things have also been there. Since our statement came out yesterday, I've had all kinds of messages coming to me. People are telling me, you say you are Christian, we are Muslims, and all kinds of things have been written. So we think that our engagement with the Muslim community will also help us a lot. With our engagement.
Yeah, chairman Eddie Emma National Peace Council, Reverend Dr. Ernest ena yetene nka ewo ehono na opinion nso enim depa efa bambo ensem eho ena ode ato edwa se hwe protest ahodo a ekoso suppose if nso ka wo se wo nso edi hia wo ma ene oman asumde ewo no ebe free ensa ene nti efutu ode ama opposite ene se won dwumadi ahodo mu no wamo enhwe senebe ya okra bia ho entumi enka na no enhye amanfo abufuo amomo ensantingu emontene so ogidi ss omo etusa anamona eye ede enoma anasa sumdue ebepapa sanso enode ato edwa se wana omugu montene so eye protest no wamo so enhwe enhunu se protest no se de si kono omo befa emrakwan so na wamo ayo omo e protest yewra adepsani say enokanensa nensem.
That's the greatest deal of professionalism. Just before the election results was announced, I told you a lot of NDC supporters gathered outside the Electoral Commission's office. There were military men, there were police officers, people were shouting, some were throwing aspersions. So in the face of all of that provocation, we still had the security agents exercising restraint. In security studies, you see, if you are well studied or researched enough or trained, you would know that there are certain instances that has the potential of becoming violent, that can be de-escalated. But a lot of these officers feel once he approaches you the buga buga way, you would also have to counter with the buga buga way. But under many circumstances, they always have that opportunity to de-escalate. So it is important that they are able to exercise the greatest deal of restraint and they are able to de-escalate certain situations and as much as they can. And this is extremely important. Avoid using force. But in the midst of all this, there is the need for some level of backdoor diplomatic engagement. That is why it is extremely key for the chief imam to get involved and for other notable, very well respected persons like, Archbishop Palmer Bako and some other persons. And even most importantly, I must say, the Ashanti Hini. So if we are able to get the politicians to order, they would also be mindful about the things they say to their followers, which has the potential of inciting them to go out there. Politicians are like celebrities. They are like men of God. In Ghana, following. And in sociology, we have something we call groupthink. Whatever their opinions are, whatever their rhetoric is, has a direct correlation on the opinions, perceptions, and of course, way of thinking, thought processes of their followers, who they inspire. When you come on TV, whatever you come on radio, love FM to see.
Yay, and some no be a yera. Adepsani enso ede etu ejawa bra ne nsem for edi enkomono na enrada demonstration bako ekoso edim Techiman South ye maame hana BCU a waye women's organizer dema ND Samayukuno eko Techiman South ane emma ewo ho edi enhyiamu eye protest kese pa eno ena ode ato edwa se electoral commission womo awia ND Samayukuno ede ama NDC nti womo te ase a enyeye ye maame hana BCU.
Cats, you killed us. You intimidated us. This is a democratic country. We are here to address the chief armed robbers. We came to see the ISIS. They are the chief armed robbers. An armed robber is anybody who robs at a gunpoint. You rob us of the Chiman South. You rob us of so many constituencies at gunpoints. You stop at nothing by shooting. I have with me family members of people that you killed. We have a woman who has 4 fatherless children because you shot and you killed him. And you rob us. We are not armed. We have come to speak to your conscience. We have come to speak to the EC. We have come to speak to you those you are using to intimidate and oppress the people of this nation.
Yay, women's organizer Ede Emma NDC Amayekuna Hanabisiu ena yetine nka ewo ho na day womo enso omo ewo private schools mo ababonten de tudwa se enough is enough wo matena fie be se abosumi edu ebre to see a school no mo so ekokoto a womo enwomesua so if say schools egu anesa opani ba ko a waka private schools mpanifo no ehu bie ye friend Prince Kwaku entei wo ye opani a eba womo ensensem ehu a odimu akotini ye pa ene ode sa enoma no ato edwa a o chirimu se COVID-19 ehyehyeye ohwe World Health Organization a omehyehyeye gu honoma omo ebetimi edi so se ne be ya COVID-19 no entretrenti abanye ne manimu ya omie ekwan entum anyasa na echechechecha se ne enkura no nsunsuanso bone benya ewo mo so ama oman mu ni nyina no dabi na enya nsunsuanso bone ewo yenso no womo ebetu womo ehofo ama omo de emra no ashomo ensem ebie womo eschool Prince Kwaku entei eye mpanimfo no bia yeko private schools no mu a woka eho ebie sei no ka nsem
woni wonwa yesia bibia ye fa no digital literacy online learning no aban ye so ye bi enkwesi aka eye papa bia private school for there na won so wo ye no ne boy ye den nta wofo entumi entua won omo tumi ntua nta nyoma ba ye fe me na ba sa ban ama ye date na ye mbia ye ntra ho na nkwala ye sei esa ne sei ye nkwala ye o hwe what na feel 11 months no say yankopon ye ya dum the next generation the next 5 years wehu ni pursue a ye be produce mo man mu wo man mu behu esa ne sei sade we obi twere ho twere ho antiafe obi twere ho twere ho antiafe so nkwala na tena fie fa na mo na bansam abaya ye kan ye na ye wo bi o mo na nim omo tete o man mu omo nim dia koso ewo nkwala na brabo na eya yim sisi kese eyo how kese edmaye eti ye perfect o mampani etse sansemi ye nim se ye na mo video nso o mampani eli mpo se ye onu mpo onu ante a ministry ho nanoma edide dumadi anu wo beti wa bo mampani amade na wa twenu ho esan se committee na eye ministry ni se ye no won fa report bi ama ye nse se bia sei na ekoso enti sa da we ni ebie school a ye free se ebetumi aboa eno ne se bibia ye din yenti bibia free committee no enti ye hu ne se enkoyi emayen yeti ame no ka say ye wo on record ye wo schools 10 oma fodu up oma dane omo school dan no aye residential facility aye de ma high so na bisa say san kwala na e wo san school ehe na ombeko se school bi ambe sa mbia na aban kasa no oni adan a o de san kwala ye de gum enti bi na ba ye atete sempa na ba ye so enti aban no omrem UNICEF any World Health Organization omode akwantra to ye fe no blueprint e dey man say oman bia pese obia school a ta nsese we yebetumi afa so a e dey asomdwe beba e ma yade no entumi nkobun emfa nkwara no so wo school ta say na da ho yen private school for ye work oman mu ya ye bi ministry ni yama no copy NIV National Inspectorate Board yama mo copy bisa say e ho sam kwesi say enti dia e kono yen ta say
enti dia kono Yentiasie Prince Kweku Ente a member edema private school team anase womo ekuno no na yeko ejoso yekopiem ewo ejoso ayekoi yeko akudru MP elect member of parliament elect ede ema ejoso abaton pesuano so ne din ene John Ampontia Kuma na wade atudwa say yebeto aba we MPs no mo ehebo omo sebo yebe say na ebredu se womo fanda yetwa ma womo no foto yetwa ma womo no ebi beka womo nsa no so de mpumtujuma efese womo bosha womo ehye sika nso meka womo ensem no ekoba sa womo bo a womo ehye no emamu eno nti obesere aban se at least 50% of MPs fund na ebi beba womo enchen ebi wokra MP ni MC ana DC behwe na womo enka ekoba ne sa empumtuo ntimi emaso ewo abato no mpesua so obehwe na MP no kotwa one time a pe na wafri akunya no so fri se ne dwumadie no wantimi anye nti wobesre aban na aban enso edena no atomo bi ama MPs fund no 50% etimi akwaduru MP no ewo ama no so etimi di aye empumtujuma ewo na abato mpesua no so sene DC is ye appoint wo mo no eno nti se ye appoint na se wanye makra ene aban no betimi afa obiem na enso kore MP dwumadie dia yeto aba ewo wo mo so yeto aba wo mo eso na se wa anye hwede a ene dabi no manfo no ensanto aba emfa ma wo mo ebiem ente ho behia so mo ebenya fund no ebi no de aye adwuma
the regional community question almost any financial allocations there for development and oba MP na MP die mremo no ye use koshemra enti mwana wo kwese no kwa ne de ahye wonsa onsa amanfo nyina na ato abama so we need a net spending allocation behind the budget enti no hwemu omo spending no Ghana han gan to abama omo ena omo aya to abama omo no so no omo need spending allocation bia bibia no net development agitation our community no it an say MC ne ento no so abam no control the entire common fund na eba district no Opekra no copy of us because we are answerable only to the president. But it's not the MP no na campaign. Only MP no mom na also the development no eba. But the mrana ya na de MP no koshemra nko a. Until such a time you na beti ase say yen to abanyi NCEs no. I was here kwan e be fa so e be samra no. Ama MP no so a certain level of role. Yen can see any different allocation. The eba na no. Move 50% because some of the MMDCs, Ubekokra no in MP in Kasa. Ubekana assemblyman, so only one see no problem. And yet, still like Bobukra, we never been called important. And it should be possible, say, 100% common fund aircon. Say MP 90% on development projects. At the beginning of the year, MP pay up to 50% of his budget allocation or the programs and projects in the constituency in the call. And you almost your city to all elected assembly members. Almost the beginning of the year, so on the community and our toilet in the war. One also swatch not the Akotwa assembly. Now pay 30% now can the MC with me data. Now I say, who campaign when you back up how natural. Question when you say, then soon need financial allocation and possible for you to address it.
Yei MP elect ewo ejoso abaton pesua so John Ampontia Kuma ene etenenka ewo eho no enche na ye di bronya na bronya besisi a kan kwanhia ene contemporantem ensem na ye bibrebe na eno ena VIP ene de ye bo anan ko ne mpanifo kodi enkomo eho ena yewura oboba a woye pani a ohwe discipline committee chairman ye ne no bo enkomo no de tu twa se VIP oba asafo station wonom dia omototo no kama se ne be ya bronya yi nkwanhia intimi enkoso ntia futuo ene discipline ekoso ewo won drivers no eho pa
we
for na kasa se brunye ba so bi enya be yi ko kwan so overtaking we ya hino muso enu da ho so na overtaking no transport for no ban so ya no kasa fine ya ye Veronica bucket na ade nyen so tete o horo sasa ko tete gichi fa be foka so ya he se o here face masibi ke no ma akidin kita mo kama omope to mba so he wo mu yi se yema basa bia enkusi ni fono omayama adet mase de one driver na se call no for ne one on e dia two drivers ke bia two driver owa on tem to so baba but the do so dia opa bia two drivers ke bia two drivers na le mebra na do team nchen no wa beji on ti se bedu ada se wa na testimony ada for no person na intimidate man emeche driver ni de wonye is a plan no awe bia na so blood you could draw no more. You come for so that for no. You can be a chat. So passing be my pressure. Me follow. You swagging. Wouldn't draw the net.
Yeye Oboba VIP Discipline Committee Chairman Ewo Asafo Asante Mantema say any etene ne ewo hona na driver for no be enso ekasai de efutuo ema won fefo.
Am say it said the aro kana edu satamia pressure e kwaso ebejebeja kana ye kano ade ba kwa me mensu wo mana so menhu wo me say wo kaka no o so wo so wo kon bi jama esanse nipa ba ko be try am so na ga san nipa be me asana se nine e wo kwa no so enti ni tembia ne me mama so wo say am ko kan ho de ba ahwe yi e na ma nipa di ni che enti kwa ma ye ko no abotra so bibi onu kwa se wo be san ko no kwa so saka ho would be paswa now so we say we will take so we say we need the home as how to me akọ
Ye drivers for no be enso ensema mo echire mo na passengers no so baako e de pii so say